What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Ready to Love Season 4 episode, I think, 10. I don't know. It'll be correct in the description box. First of all, let me apologize for the sound. I am working on it. I have ordered a new microphone. I have no idea what's going on with my sound. But we're going to move forward and make it do what it do. So we start this episode off. We picked up where we left off with Alexis confronting Amber. Amber looking like a deer caught in the headlights. And Alexis is coming at her. Alexis is coming at her with all of the bells and whistles, accusing her. You did this, you did that, you kissed Ron, you betrayed me, and listen, this is why I don't like looking. I know that y'all be telling me out of love, but this is why I don't like looking at like interviews and know what's going on like behind the scenes while I'm trying to review the show, because it's hard for me to look at stuff with fresh eyes when I know other stories. So I did look at the interview with Ron, and Ron was like, listen, Alexis was playing games. Alexis knew what was going on the whole time. She knew that I was dating Amber. She knew that Amber was in my top 3. And like they even used to exchange, text messages and compare notes. So he was like, I don't know why, Alexis was what she was really putting on for the cameras. So it's kind of hard for me to look at that whole scene with anything. So that's why I try to stay away from all that stuff. But anyway, with that being said, Amber did apologize. She said it wasn't a big deal. She went out with Ron and his friends. She was out with one of her friends who was getting ready to get deployed. They ran into Ron and some of his friends. She said Ron leaned in for the kiss. She, kissed him, but it didn't change anything. No sparks were flying or nothing like that. Now, Chris, a.k.a. KG, felt like he should have been in on it because he was like, well, we tell each other everything. So, I'm going to do this got me a little concerned. We need to have a talk. And in my mind, I'm like, what you going to talk about? What do you need to have a talk about, sir? What we talking about? Again, let me remind y'all, the purpose of this show is to date everyone. And if she went out on a date with Ron and Ron leaned in for a kiss and she kissed him, so what? Y'all act like these people are running around here having sex. It's a kiss. Get over it. Why are we acting like they laid down in the middle of the damn dance floor and gave up something? Like it was a kiss. I am so sick of y'all acting. Oh my gosh. Come back. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm back. So later on that night, because I'm done with that. So later on that night, Kyra, Liz, Jason, and AJ, the foursome, because that's what they are at this point. They the foursome. Well, no, Alexis was missing. They really a fivesome. Anyway, the 4 of them got into the jacuzzi. Listen, let me tell you what Kyra was doing, okay? Kyra was applying pressure, okay? Kyra came out that thing in this bikini, and baby, she looked nice. I listen. I don't even swing that way, but Kyra, you was looking nice. You was looking good, girl. That bikini was looking nice, and you was applying pressure, okay? Alexis was on the sideline. She was talking to Joelle and Renisha, and she was like, I'm gonna just give him time. I know that he needs time to figure it all out, so I'm just gonna give him time. She's talking about AJ, and she said, I don't even understand what AJ sees in her. Every time AJ and Kyra get together, they argue. It's just an argument, and they end up the hot tub, and I wouldn't say arguing, they're disagreeing, they're debating. Like that's what they do. Kyra is a damn attorney. That's what Kyra gonna do. She gonna challenge you, she gonna question you, she gonna debate you. And if AJ is here for it, like I have friends, that is their whole relationship. And it's not nasty or negative, but they banter like that. They go back and forth like that. Like, that's what they do, But, of course, Alexis is on the sideline like, And she was like, I ain't even going to front. Like, I'm feeling some kind of way right now. Like, I'm really feeling some kind of way right now. Okay. Whatever. And anyway, so that was that. So the next day, the ladies get up and cook breakfast because remember the men had cooked dinner the night before. So the ladies are cooking breakfast, and then everybody everybody looked nice. It was nice to see that everybody was just au natural. Like, you know, people wasn't getting up and beating their face and then coming down. Like, they was really just in their element. And I can appreciate that. You know, a lot of times, and I know a lot of these, like, housewives and stuff like that, they have a glam squad. But, you know, you see scenes where they're laying in bed with a full face of makeup. And I'm like, you know, good daggone well, you ain't about to go to sleep with all that makeup on your face. Or they wake up in the morning, they come downstairs with just this whole beat face. And I'm like, listen, y'all doing a lot. But it was nice to see that, you know, the women were just, you know, a lot of the women, or if they did have on makeup, it was light. It wasn't no heavy first thing in the morning, like, Anyway. So Alexis is like, I need to talk to AJ because, you know, now that he's had time to spend with me and he's had time to spend with, you know, Kyra, I really need to lock him down. I really need to see what's good and what's going on. And so they end up going and having a conversation. They up on the little tower or whatever, and you know, Alexis was, and the way I was taking it, Alexis was really talking to him like a child. Like, you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. I don't understand why you would want to be with somebody that always, you know, you always got to fuss and argue with and always trying to challenge you. Like, you know you need to just, and I was like, and once again, that whole conversation of needs and wants, like the woman I need versus the woman I want, you know, and AJ is really like on the edge. Now, personally, I don't think AJ on the edge. I think AJ want Kyra. I don't think AJ want Alexis. I just don't feel it in my bones. But I also feel like he's playing the long game. They're almost at the end. He wants to make it to the final 3 couples, and I think he's trying to figure out who is going to give him the best chance of getting to the final 3. I don't know if they get an extra prize at the final 3 or what. I really don't know because it's only my second season watching it. So I don't know if there's some special, you know, pot of gold or if it's just for bragging rights. But I feel like that is all AJ is trying to do is he's trying to get to the end of this road. That is how I feel. Okay. Renisha and Joelle had a chance to have a conversation. And they ended up staying in the same room. Now, they said ain't nothing happened. And Joelle was like, I mean, something could have happened, but it didn't. I believe you. I believe Joelle. Like, I feel like if something had happened, they would have kind of been like a little, you know, they might have still said no, but I feel like they would have gave themselves away. But he did say that he enjoyed having her in his bed. He did say that he enjoyed waking up next to her. He did say that, you know, he got them babies. Well, they ain't really babies, but he's got his twins. And, you know, he really is not trying to bring a bunch of women in and out their life. And so he really does, you know, I feel like he's dating for himself, but I also feel like he's looking at who is also going to be a good fit into what he has going on in his life. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have 2 children that you've been raising by yourself for the last couple of years. And you do have to take all of that into consideration, you know, so... but I definitely feel like they locked and loaded. Like that whole him calling Kyra thing, I think it was, at this point, I'm almost feeling like maybe production told him to do it just to start some shit. I don't know. But it definitely was nothing serious. It was just a temporary, we'll just call it temporary insanity. But he's definitely locked and loaded with Renisha. And at this point, even if that blew up, they would just have to go home because Jason goes on a date with Kyra. They go to play tennis. And after they had their date, they have a conversation. And Jason says, listen, at this point, I like you and I like Liz. Like, there's no mistake there. He said, but I really need to know where you are in this. Like, I need to know, you know, because, you know, in the beginning, you've been at my top all the way through. And, you know, Kyra was like, well, I mean, I've never wavered. I've always called your name. Whenever I had to choose, it's always been you. He was like, yeah, but you still entertaining AJ. And so I need to know, like, is it me? Because at this point in the process, like, you know, or you should know. And yes, I like Liz. And Liz is sort of kind of pushing you out of the way. But my initial connection was with you. But I need some reassurance. Like, basically what he's saying is, I'm not going to go out here on this limb and say, I'm going all in on you. And I send Liz home. And then next week you choose AJ. And I'm sitting out here on the cold. Like, I need to know what you're trying to do. And, you know, Kyra was like, well, listen, I can't tell you that. Like, at this point, I'm playing the long game. Like, I want to ride this whole process out to the end. And then I'll see where I am at the end. And in my mind, I'm thinking, boo, you at the end. Like, 3 couples get to the end. Y'all are down to 4.5 couples. Like, y'all need to figure it out at this point. And so, of course, Jason, he ain't like that. You know, he wasn't really feeling that because he was like, well, that, you know, kind of puts him on a limb a little bit. And his thing is, but you know. Like, at this point in the process, you really should know. I think you have your answer, Jason. Like, I don't know what to tell you, boo. You got your answer. You better go on over there with Liz. Rub her feet some more. Anyway, so then we have nephew Tommy comes rolling up on a horse, honey. And he come to talk to the fellas, and he ends up doing a one-on-one with them. And you know, he talks to Chris and Chris and Amber had a whole conversation. I'm not entertaining that because, like I said, Chris, I don't feel like she owes you any explanation. I don't feel like she did anything wrong. Shit, she kissed damn Ron, but she apologized. He accepted whatever. Child, anyway. So nephew Tommy has a one-on-one, and like I said, when he talks to Joelle and Venetia, you know, Joelle tells him about the blow-up that they had, but how they were able to talk it out and come back together. And he was like, so, I mean, is that you? That's who you are? He was like, I'm locked and loaded. It's Venetia. Same thing with KG. They had a conversation. KG told him about the whole thing with the kiss, and they had their little hiccup, but they worked it out, and they good to go now. And he was like, oh, so you locked and loaded. He was like, yep, I'm locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. So then, he talks to Jason, and Jason tells him basically, listen, I'm digging both of them, but she told me that she needs to ride this process out, and I know, like at this point, I'm ready to choose her if she's ready to choose me. But you know, Liz, I do have Liz over here. I like Liz, but you know, Kyra was kind of my number one in the beginning, so I do, you know, I'm still kind of feeling her a little bit or whatever. And so nephew Tommy tells him, he said, listen, nobody gets to dictate to you. Nobody gets to dictate to you. So you need to make up your mind what it is that it's going to be. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, y'all. So then Jason was like, you know, I hear you. So then he goes to talk to AJ. No, so he says, so nephew Tommy says, so you know, I gotta ask you, if you had to go home today, who you going home with? And Jason, I mean, he kind of hemmed and hawed, but he was like, Liz. Tommy was like, all right. So then they go and talk to AJ. Same thing. You know, AJ is talking to Tommy. Again, the needs and the wants conversation. And, you know, he's on the fence about Kyra and, you know, all of that. And every time he asked him, he said, listen, I'm going to ask you. If you had to choose somebody, if you had to take somebody home tonight, who would it be? So nephew Tommy says, listen, you know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. Oh, next thing you know, we see AJ talking to Kyra. Now, I'm thinking it's just another date, right? I'm thinking that, you know, that he said, listen, I got some questions for Kyra. I just need some clarity on some things. And so, again, he's having this conversation with Kyra. And Kyra basically is telling him the same thing. She told Jason, listen, I want to ride this wave. I'm not ready to choose, and I'm not going to choose, and y'all can't make me choose. And AJ was like, well, you know, then, you know, and he holding her hand, and they all in front of the fireplace, and they being all romantic and everything. And he said, well, then we just don't feel like you're ready to love. And Kyra was stunned. Like, you could see that she was like, oh, shit. Like, okay. But he would not let go of her hand. He wouldn't let go of her hand, and they just sat there for a long time, and he was all upset. He looked like he was getting ready to cry. I'm like, he's crying. He looked like he was getting... Listen, I'm going to shut up. Okay. Nothing wrong with him crying. Okay. And she was like, well, can I have my hand back? He was like, I don't want you to go. I'm not ready for you to go. I just need more time. Now, this is only my second season, so I need my ride or dies, the people who've been there from the beginning. Have they ever done this before? Because from the previews from next week, it looks like Kyra didn't get eliminated. But it also looks like Alexis didn't get eliminated. So, what had happened here? Well, let me say this. I didn't see Alexis, like, I saw Alexis in a confessional saying, I feel like I got stabbed in the back. So maybe, I don't know if I don't know if she ends up getting eliminated or not. Let me be clear. But from the previews, it's clear that Kyra did. So I'm just like, has that ever happened before where somebody was supposed to get eliminated, but then they changed their mind and said you can stay a little bit longer, or they were going to eliminate one person, then they changed their mind, eliminate another? Y'all can tell me, because that's what it looked like had happened. But anyway, that's what happened on this thing, Ready to Love. And I'm thinking we only have about 2 more weeks. I feel like next week is going to be the last regular week, and then they're just going to have to choose after that. Because at this point, we got 2 out of the 3 couples. We just got to figure out this last little love triangle. And I think the third couple is going to end up being Jason and Liz, honestly. Because AJ, you doing too much. And Kyra, you are too. Because at this point, Kyra, like, it's cool to ride the wave and not want to make a decision to a point. But at this point, boo, it's time to poop or get off the pot. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.